into 2021. For me, it'll probably be a little bit New Year's Day or a little bit after New Year's when you guys see this. And as you can tell by the title, this is about my journey, my personal journey, in dealing with fertility issues, I guess you can say that, and a miscarriage that I went through. So I wanted to give that kind of introduction just so, you know, it can be a touchy topic for many people. So it can be sensitive. Some people may not be ready to hear it or something like that. So I'm giving you time to decide to, you know, exit out or whatnot until you do feel like you're ready. That's part one of the intro. Part two of the intro, I just want to say that it's taking me 2 years to actually come out with this story and telling this journey and being comfortable enough to tell it to the world. And I mean, I guess that was just my way of dealing with it. But I feel like it needs to be talked about because it's not talked about very often. And like myself, I'm sure many other women have felt as if they were alone. They feel like no one can relate. And I want all women out there that's going through this to know that you're not alone. There are so many women going through it, and it's not even talked about as often as you think. You know, like we go through life thinking, you know, one time you have sex, you can get pregnant. It's so easy and nothing happens. It's just easy. It's easy. But it's not for everybody. And that this is my message to those who have been through it or are going through it to know that you're not alone. But this is also my message to those who've never been through it, who can't relate, who don't understand it, to be more sensitive to the topic because many people aren't. Many people don't know. You don't know. You think everything is easy. So many people say insensitive things like, when are you gonna get pregnant? When are y'all having children? What you waiting for? Why you wait so long? Stuff like that. Or it'll happen. Trust, you know it will happen. Even though we know it will happen, those are not the words that we look for. You know, just listen to us, understanding from our standpoint. You know, in the midst of the trials and tribulations, it feels like it's never going to happen. It's not meant for us. We feel less than. It's just so many emotions that we go through. So don't be so quick to just speak. You have to think about what you're saying to somebody who's going through that because it's painful for us. So that's my introduction. And I'm actually not excited, but I'm anxious. I'm kind of happy to be telling this story finally. I actually posted it on Instagram like a week ago. Not like a whole story, but just like a brief, like, you know, I had a miscarriage and I struggled with infertility. Like, that's so hard for some women to actually say out loud. And it has been so hard for me to say out loud. I felt like I was wrong to talk about it. I felt like people, even just other people, made me feel wrong to talk. Some few moments that I talked about it, other people, you know, said little things that just make me feel like I have to put this back inside and leave it to myself and just talk about it to God, with God. And I do that, but sometimes it just feels good to get it out to other people that can actually come back and tell you how they can relate. I'll start with, I'll just start from the beginning. So in 2018, November of 2018, we found out that we were expecting. It was not planned at all. I was actually in my first semester of school, so it wasn't a plan. And when we found out, we were a little shocked and a little like, whoa, this wasn't what we was planning for. But once we came to accepting it, we were happy. We were very excited, and we were just like, this is God's plan. We're just gonna go with it, and everything's just gonna work out. That's how we felt. So we were, you know, of course, going through the pregnancy. I went to my first doctor's appointment mid-December of 2018, and they did the ultrasound, and I did not hear, they didn't hear a heartbeat. I couldn't find a heartbeat. They did my lab work, and the doctor told me, you know, it looks like you may be miscarriaging. You have the option to have a miscarriage naturally, to take a pill that will help induce the miscarriage, or to get a procedure done called DNC. And that will help. That's just a procedure where they actually pull out everything from the pregnancy. So I chose to do it naturally, let God do his work, and go from there. So my doctor wanted to, my lab actually, so that was the plan. And then my lab, my HCG, that tells you, you know, you're pregnant, how pregnant you are. Or how, I don't want to say how pregnant you are, but just, you know, it tells you how the pregnancy is going. Because the higher the number, the better. The lower the number, it's not always bad, but sometimes it cannot be a good sign. So with that being said, my HCG was actually very high and my progesterone was high. So he was like, well, maybe, you know, it's just too early to hear the heartbeat. So let's come back in 2 days and do some more lab work and we'll see. If the HCG number is dropping, then we know that a miscarriage is coming. So I came back, did the blood work, and we knew that a miscarriage was coming. So that was that. Still decided to let it be natural. And like 2 weeks later, nothing happened. With that kind of feeling, when you know you're accepted, this is what you want. I was devastated, of course, just to hear the news. I was once in 2 weeks and nothing happened. I was like, maybe the doctor was wrong. You know, maybe. And I, you know, you do research and you've heard people say like they went on to actually hear a heartbeat later. So I was having like hope, you know, just because I haven't miscarriage 2 weeks later. And he wanted me to come in for a doctor appointment because he was concerned that I hadn't miscarriage, because obviously you can't hold on to a non-viable pregnancy for but so long because it can cause other complications in your body. So I went in and, you know, for sure it was definitely no heartbeat and everything. So at this point we decided to do the medication route to have the miscarriage, to like help induce the miscarriage. So prescribed my medication. That day I went home, and then it started happening on its own. And I called the doctor and said, hey, it's happening. Do you still want me to take the pill? And he said yes, just to make sure everything comes out. So it was heavy. It's a lot of TMI. I'm giving that warning. But the miscarriage, the bleeding process, it was a lot. I couldn't even go to the store to pick up my prescription. So my fiance, went to go pick it up and came back, took it. So that night I pretty much like was going through a miscarriage. I never had children, but that is the most painful thing. I feel like it felt as how birth is. You know how labor is? You feel like you can feel the contraction and then it stops. You feel the contraction and then it stops. Like you're delivering a baby, but you're not delivering a baby, which makes it so hard because you have to go through all this pain just to be getting rid of this fetus, this embryo, or, you know, the blood products of it. And it was just not a good experience, especially knowing that you're doing all this to have no like positive, beautiful baby result. Anyways, like I said, it was a lot of blood, and I fell asleep that night. Then I felt like a big gush. Went to the bathroom, and I never made it out the bathroom. I passed out, and we found me on the floor. So of course, like, you know, that's scary to find your love, your spouse, anyone like that. So he called 911, and I went to the hospital. They had to end up doing the DNC. So with that being said, I got all three. I had natural, then took the pill, and then still had to do the DNC. I had to get 3 blood transfusions because I lost so much blood. And it was just so devastating, everybody. So like, and I never wished that on anybody. I never want to go through that again. So after that, you know, we just decided it wasn't in the plan. So we decided, we're just gonna, you know, just wait, you know, till closer to graduation. We wanted many children. We wanted at least 4. So, you know, we knew that we wanted to try closer to before I graduated, because I'm actually about to be 30 and I just graduated in December, and with wanting 4 children and knowing the older you get, the higher the risk and things like that. We wanted to say that you can't have children at an older age. I know that, you know, I would be willing, but only but so much, because I mean, I work in the NICU and I've seen women go through things. So, you know, and that's my personal decision. Nothing wrong with any woman who's above the age to try it. Definitely do it. Medicine is 2021, and you know, there's so many modalities out there that can assist. So I definitely encourage that. I'm just telling you what my personal preference is at this moment, but you never know. I might be the one at 40 like, okay, let's try one more, you know. With that being said, I I went back on birth control, and the birth control messed my body up. I was emotionally not myself, and things weren't working out. So I think we just decided to not do birth control and let whatever happen happen. So for about, that was like maybe March. From March to October, we weren't doing anything. And then I went to my I found a new OBGYN actually. And, you know, she said, well, I told her, you know, we're not on birth control or anything like that. So her concern was just eventually going through infertility. So she said from October to January, you know, we can just kind of continue to do what we were doing. And then in January, she would do like some workup or whatever. So that happened, and then January of 2020, she did an ultrasound and saw that I had a cyst on my ovaries, mini cysts on both ovaries. They call that Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. She didn't want to say that I had the Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, just the fact that I have polycystic ovaries, because I don't have the other symptoms. And some of the symptoms, it's just insulin resistance, like excessive hair growing in many places, which I actually do think I kind of suffer from that. And then excess weight gain. And those are just to name a few. I don't want to go into too much detail. But she didn't feel as though I had like all the symptoms, but I definitely had many cysts on both my ovaries. With that being said, she wanted to start me on a medication. And mind you, we said we wanted to start trying closer to graduation. So at this point, we had been no birth control for pretty much a year and nothing happened. And we weren't like preventing, but we weren't trying, if that makes sense. So then January 2020 comes and we're like, she puts us on the metformin and we kind of start trying, not much. Like I'm still in school at this point, so I'm not like trying to stress about it. But at the same time, and I want to pause there because like many people are like, you're in school, you know, and a lot of people, they don't let it consume you, blah, blah. Not to say that it ever consumed me, but it does consume some women. But not to say that it consumes you, but you cannot help but to think about it when you have a period every month. Especially me, I have like extremely painful periods, like to the point where I have to call out of work once, at least the first day of my menstrual cycle, because I'm bleeding so heavy and it's so painful. So every month, that's when it is the hardest. Like now I'm getting better. But before that was when it was the hard. I literally cried once a month when I'm on my menstrual cycle. I'm bawling tears just because I'm like, I don't want a period. This is not fair. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Just like, this is hard. It's like really painful when you are. If it was one thing, if I'm not getting pregnant, but my periods are chill. Like that's cool. Like I can deal with that. I'm like, all right, it's cool. It'll happen. But every month when you gotta deal with that pain, you just like, oh, why did you have to come? You know, like so those are some of the feelings like that women go through, y'all. Like it's not that we're consumed by it. It's not that we want to be thinking about it, but you can't help it sometimes when things like that come. So don't tell a woman don't think about it. Try not to think about it. You don't know how hard it is to try not to think about it when you see women walking around getting pregnant and you know that's something that you wanted. Not to say that we're not happy. I'm so happy for all my friends, all my coworkers and families that do get pregnant. Like it's such a blessing. But of course, naturally, as a woman who's gone through something so traumatic and devastating, you can't help but just say why. You know, when is my chance coming? You know, you cannot help but to say that. So don't put yourself in another woman's shoes before you be quick to judge. Okay, sorry. So yeah, we did the metformin and we did that for like 2 months and she did an ultrasound and my cysts were starting to go down. I believe the left ovary, but my right ovary still had many cysts. So she upped my metformin dose and y'all I can't like go in depth about the different medications just because, the purpose of the video, like this would be a whole nother video I'll have to talk about. But so she increased my dose and then decided to start me on a medication called Clomid, which is also a fertility medication that's supposed to help boost your egg quality and increase your chances of, you know, having a baby or getting pregnant. So did those things. This is all for about like from January to June. And then June comes and nothing was happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let God do his work. Like, I'm tired of taking medication. With the increased dose of metformin, it was not making me feel any better. I was actually feeling sick and my stomach was hurting a lot. It was just not the best. And then it was just like, I'm tired of taking stuff that's not working. Like, what's the point? I don't want to keep putting all these drugs in my body and it's not helping me. I know some things come with time, but I was like, no, I'm just letting God do his work. So that, from June until now, I just haven't been taking anything. I said, once I graduate, I'll probably, start doing the checking. They have, when you can check when you're ovulating, those things like that. And I just didn't want to do it all during school because it's so stressful. Like, it is a lot, like, to just want to keep thinking about that and having to track every single thing in order to know when to have sex. We're all adults here, and if you're not, you can log off. So yeah, like, it was just too much. So here we stand now at this point. So now at this point, my menstrual cycle has started getting better, like, as far as the pain and the heaviness. I took just a regular supplement. It's called Myo-inositol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But anyway, I took the supplement, the Balance Pills by Alani Nu, for a woman out there that have heard of her and everything. And the pills really did help with, my menstrual cycle. So that was my focus more so, was just like having better menstrual cycles. Let's just focus on that and everything else is going to come. But then I was, again, tired of taking pills. So I was like, I don't want to take that anymore. So I just didn't, and my menstrual cycle still stayed okay, like, not so painful and whatnot. And just now, here I stand, just having faith that, everything is God's timing, and being that I was in school, that wasn't the right time, and I know it would have been hard on me and the way that I am as a person, so organized and, like, have my mind focused on one thing, it would have been hard. So for all of y'all saying it's God's time and everything, I know, and I understand that, and that's where I've been at, but, like, I'm accepting that and letting God do his thing. But still, don't say that to people. Like, just don't. Just let us go through it the way we need to go through it. Just be there for us, because that's just what we asked for. And for you women out there who've gone through it, who has gone through it, like, I understand. It's hard. It's hard. My honest suggestion is find somebody who can relate to you. Find somebody who understands you, that, has either been through it or going through it. Y'all can talk about it together. Like, that's honestly your best bet, because nobody who has never been through it will never understand to the point that we understand it. They will never get it to the point we get it. And I don't fault them. I don't fault you all. Like, you can't help it. That's not your fault. I don't want you to have to go through it to get it, but sometimes you just have to talk to somebody that can relate to you, because those are the people who know what to say, who know how to respond, who know how to listen and not respond. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to, like, get this out there because it's so common. When I first had my miscarriage, my honest thoughts were just like, what's wrong with me? What did I do? Oh, I was drinking for Halloween. Did I do that? Oh, I had a turkey sandwich. I had raw meat. Did I do, not raw meat, but, uncooked meat. Because they say, daily, you're not supposed to eat that. It can help cause miscarriage. Like, did I do that? Oh, I was cleaning the tub with this cleaner. Did I sniff? Did that come in? And I had so many thoughts. I was blaming myself. It was so painful. It was so toxic. So this is why I tell y'all, like, y'all need to be there for people that go through it, because y'all don't know what we go through and blaming ourselves. Not only that, I felt like less of a woman. I felt like, I said I was going to cry this video. But I felt like less of a woman. Like, you see God placed women, not in the Bible, we're here to reproduce, also do other things, but, like, one of our things is that we can do that men can't do is to reproduce, to carry a child for 9 months. And the fact that I couldn't do that, and, like, I failed myself, and the fact that anybody who knows me, like, I always wanted children. Like, that's all. Even before I found my fiance, I was like ready. Oh, as soon as I turned 30, I'm going to get a surrogate. I'm going to adopt. Like, it was it's a big thing for me. So to know that I naturally can't do it, I felt like my body betrayed me. And then month after month, when my menstrual cycle came and it's painful, I feel like my body continues to betray me, and it just hurts. So I just want women to know, like, you're not alone. At the end of the day, you're not alone. And for people who've never been through it, be more understanding, do your research, and just continue to be there for us. And that's pretty much, I just wanted to tell my journey, tell my story. And you know, I'll continue. We're trying now. Like before, it was just kind of like hoping. You know, now we are actively trying. And you know, of course, again, God's timing, and you know, I'm continuing to have faith. You know, and I feel good. I feel this is the best I ever felt in these past 2 years. So I feel really good. I feel really optimistic, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for this journey, regardless. So, if you want more videos about us trying and our journey, for you other women trying, please comment below, and I'll definitely you know, start to make more of those videos, but I'll continue to be true to everything else that I said that this blog is about, which is just my lifestyle. So if that's a part of my lifestyle, then I definitely share it. And please comment, like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I changed my name. Actually, it's the same name of this blog YouTube page, which is signed Angel Janae, right there on the screen. Thank you guys for listening. I didn't plan it. I didn't plan how I was going to say everything, so it's not like super organized. It's just the thoughts that came to my mind. And again, never any shade to anyone, no offending to anyone, no offense, because again, I understand from all angles, because I had to learn to understand from all angles. And Happy New Year, and take this year, 2021, a day at a time. If you're watching this video, you know, we made it this far, so let's just be grateful. Thank you to God for getting us this far through it all. And then that's it.